Hi guys, it's Sophie. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be talking about my story. So how I got diagnosed with all this with autism and dyslexia, and what's happening in the future, and just my stages in my life. So let's get to the video. So in year 5 it was just a little bit of help I had. I got extra time in tests because they saw that I struggled with reading comprehensions. And although I felt that I was having some difficulties, nobody really saw that. And when they offered me a test just to see what I was able to do and what I wasn't able to do academically, to do with spelling, I tried faking the test because I knew that I needed help, but I didn't know how to come across that. And it's called masking, and a lot of girls with autism do that. Obviously that wasn't just the autism, that was dyslexia, but that's something a bit different. So yeah, year 5 I ended up just having extra time, and then when I got to year 6 it was more that you had extra time, but I also got taken out of class a couple of times a week just to do some more spelling or do some more reading, just a little bit more help. I got a help folder, and that it wasn't that big, but it was just something that I had. I had a speech and language assessment, which was my speech and language assessment said I had a little bit of struggles, but not much struggles at all. So then when I got to year 7, I was very nervous, and apparently now my mum said she didn't know if I was ready for it or not, but she was a little bit confident, but not really anything particularly. So when I got into secondary school, I struggled with making friends. I struggled to make new friends. I ended up sort of going along with some friends that I made, but there wasn't really anybody. I had 3, and although that might be quite a lot, I was struggling to get across that I didn't know whether they were friends or anything like that. I was sort of just I was a bit wobbly. And then I just felt like I was struggling with the crowds and the noise, and it just got a bit much. I didn't tell anybody because I thought it was normal. I thought everybody was like that. Because I sort of was living with it, it just didn't occur to me that it was different. And things like going into class, I found that difficult. So I used to say I'd like to go to the toilet more, even though I wasn't actually going to there. I was just standing outside the classroom for about 2 minutes because I just couldn't do it. And with the fire alarm, for instance, I cried after that because I just couldn't cope. So occasionally I had one teaching assistant or two, a teaching assistant in English or a teaching assistant in science, just to help me academically, but there wasn't really much at the start. Then towards the end of year 7, I had a educational psychologist, I think it's called, and they came in and they were testing me for dyslexia. So at this point, I was not doing a language, I was doing extra English, which is what some people were doing, and I joined that group to do that instead of French. I got diagnosed with dyslexia at the very end of year 7, and they said it was severe dyslexia. We're not quite sure of that now. We don't know if it was affected with anxiety at the same time, but I still have it. It just might not be as severe as it came out to be, and something happened there. I also had a pass to leave early. and that was to avoid the crowds and the noise, just because it got very overwhelming for me going to class. I started spending lunch times in learning support where I felt I could go, and just the support kept on building up because I felt like I needed it. So in year 8, I had a few more passes taken in. I had a timeout pass, which is where you leave lessons for 5 minutes just to have a break, just to stand outside or go to learning support, something where there's just a little break in between classes. I also was having a few more teaching assistants in classes, and that helped a bit, and I just had a few, just more, the teachers knew about what I was struggling with. I also had a pass to move about, which meant that I could stand up in class and they wouldn't really mind as much. I could just stand up and not really run around, but just sort of walk about. And I was more at the back of the class so I could do that and access the door if I needed to. I was struggling going to lessons. I think that was more of the problem, just going to lessons and staying in the lessons. Because of everything that was happening, I was just I couldn't go to lessons. Well, it depends on the lesson really. Some lessons I felt better with and some lessons I didn't. It just got a lot and it was difficult. My mum also booked me on for an autism assessment at the beginning of year 8, just because she thought it was possible. There was nothing, she just wondering because I had quite a few sensory issues and I was struggling to make friends, but not just struggling to make friends, struggling just talking to people for long periods of time. I was struggling with sarcasm and things like that. I also had a part-time table put in place at the end. So I had something where I'd stay for maybe 20 minutes of a lesson and then go and have a break for the rest. It's a bit difficult with the timings, but it works, and it means that I can stay in lessons a bit more than going out and in, just the breaks not being really placed, because I can't do like a full lesson. I can't. It's a bit tricky to explain, but some people out there might know the feeling, or some people here obviously are autistic and they might be watching this video thinking that's exactly like me. So yeah, obviously not all autistic people or people with learning disabilities or anything like that are the same. Everybody's different, so it's just a matter of what you struggle with. And yeah, I also had another speech and language assessment. Now, this assessment showed that I had a lot more difficulties. So it's quite a big difference to the last one I had. And although they were, I think it was some bits of anxiety and stuff like that, there wasn't really anything that, well, there was, we didn't really know what was wrong. I think it's just about masking again. It was just, I don't really know what happened, but that was the results anyway. So where I am now is year 9, and right now I've got exactly the same passes as before. Obviously I've had lockdown, but I've had a few things put in since then, just little things, not many more passes. I've been using my traffic light cards, which are cards where you put it down on the table and you say whether you're red, orange and green. So normally I'm around orange in class, but red is where I have to go to learning support, which I spend most of my time there. And then when I yeah, I spend most of my time there, so it feels like you're sort of placed there, which is good, because there's sort of what I see as is learning support, and then there's the main school, so I sort of go in between. All my passes would still be going, but I'd also have a gym ball in learning support, so it's kept in their office, and I just have that gym ball. I've also just been kept like a wobble cushion at school, but not the circular ones. I think it's called a move it seat. I have one of those. And then I also have a weighted blanket at school and my like drawer which I keep some stuff in. So you sort of just build up things that help you, and then I've been trying to do that. School is a difficult place, but I do enjoy it, just seeing people. It is fun to just, yeah, but I don't say I don't like school, I just find it tricky. So at the moment we are getting an EHC plan for me, and I might be moving to a special school. We're not quite sure. Obviously right now it looks like I'm really, well, if to me I'm acting more grown up than I would normally. That's just how it works on the video. So when people are on video, it's not as, they sometimes act a bit more grown up. So don't judge me off this video and say like you shouldn't be here, because you not say you shouldn't be here, but say like you don't need that, because everybody's acting different. It's called masking, and you just have to go with it. It is, yeah, so that's basically what's happened. So now I was in year 9, I've got a autism diagnosis, and obviously I've got a dyslexia diagnosis, and I've also got an had an ADHD assessment, and next Tuesday I'm having a ADHD call to see whether I have it or not, which might affect me whether I would take tablets or not. Because of this EHCP, I might move to a special school. I'm not quite sure. There are certain schools we've been looking around to see if they're any better. It looks pretty likely, but not that likely. There's still, because we haven't got these tablets, we might try that. Well, we're going to try them, these tablets, if I have, obviously I don't know if I have the diagnosis, but if I do have this diagnosis, we are going to try tablets probably, just to see if their concentration would improve. Obviously I still have the other 2 issues, but it might get me concentrating a bit better in lessons, which might affect if I move school or not. Thank you for watching this video of my story. If you'd like to comment down below, I don't know if the comments are turned on, they might be. If you have any stories you'd like to share, or if you've got any questions. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. Please like this video, turn on notifications and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, that would mean the world to me. And see ya.